What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're going to talk some football, Houston Texans football. But today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about the Houston Texans coaching staff. I know a lot of people out there are on the whole fire Bill O'Brien train. A lot of them out there want the Houston Texans to fire Bill O'Brien. People have been feeling like this, and a lot of people don't like him. A lot of people have been feeling like this for the past couple of seasons. Last season, coming into the season, even though the Texans are on a 7-game winning streak, or 7-3 leading the AFC South, you still get those same calls on the post-game show after the game. Shout out to everybody out there at Soft Sports, my boy Honcho, Wink, Wise, Rising Phoenix, Teddy, all them boys out there. Shout out to everybody out there in the round table. A lot of people comment in the chat of the Soft Sports post-game. They call into the Soft Sports post-game. I couldn't get that out for nothing. They call into the show and still want the Texans to fire Bill O'Brien, still hammer down on firing Bill O'Brien, even though the Texans are winning. Now, me, personally, I'm not on that whole fire Bill O'Brien train yet. The reason why I say yet, because like I've been saying for the past couple of videos, this is the time of the year. This is the point of the season. You lead in the AFC South. You have your quarterback in place. If you can't get into the playoffs, something has to be done. Something has to be done for you to have this league, and it's getting dicey. I mean, you have the Titans on Monday night tomorrow night. You have the Colts who just won, who just beat Miami. Now the Colts are down your neck. They 6-5. Remember, they were 1-5. They've won 5 straight. You've won 7 straight. They've won 5 straight. They're coming down. They're protecting Andrew Luck. I have to apologize to all the Colts fans out there, because I was like, oh, the Colts. I wasn't worried about the Colts. I wasn't worried about Andrew Luck. They have done something that I didn't think that they would do. This is something I've been saying for years. Colt fans, talk to me when y'all can stop the run and protect Luck. Which is something that they can do now. And Brian Gaines, Bill O'Brien, take note. You see how Andrew Luck is looking now that the Colts can protect him. They're looking like an unstoppable machine offensively. But before we get to all that, like I said, I want to talk about the coaching staff. Like I said, I'm not here to bash and be like, hey, we need to fire Bill O'Brien. But one thing I have been saying is that the Houston Texans do need an OC. The Houston Texans do need an offensive coordinator, someone to call plays, call creative plays, someone to take that play calling away from Bill O'Brien. I know he had it. I know then he gave it to Gotsey. Gotsey wasn't really an offensive coordinator. Let's be honest. He was a puppet for Bill O'Brien. We need somebody who's a legitimate offensive coordinator. And I think that we found one. I think that we have found one, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why, now a lot of people out there, y'all know, if y'all don't know, y'all should know, that I am a huge Texas Tech Red Raider fan. Been like that since Kliff Kingsbury was the quarterback, let alone the head coach of Texas Tech. Seen all the coaches and all the quarterbacks since that era. Today/yesterday, the Texas Tech Red Raiders made a decision that I kind of disagree with. But let's see, it might be for the best for both sides in letting go of former quarterback, now turned head coach, and now former head coach Kliff Kingsbury. They relieved him of his duties after him losing to Baylor. I think it was 34-24 against Baylor yesterday. He's 35-40 as a head coach. And the reason why I say that they shouldn't let go, because this wasn't the year to fire him. The year to fire Kliff, to be honest with you, I'm a huge Kliff Kingsbury fan. The year to fire him was 2 years ago, once Patrick Mahomes declared for the draft, because you had the best talent that you've ever had at the quarterback position. That's without saying anything. Then you just looking at Patrick Mahomes, you knew talent-wise he's the best quarterback that's ever put on a jersey. Probably the best player talent-wise that's ever put on a jersey for Lubbock, Texas, and put on those double T's on top of his helmet and be a Texas Tech Red Raider. He was the most athletically gifted person that we've had in that position. Strong arm, mobile, all those things like that, smart guy. And you were only able to win 4 games with him his last year. Now it turns out he's also a top 10 quarterback, a top 10 draft pick that following draft, and is one of the leading candidates for the MVP in the NFL MVP race right now, in only his 2nd year in the NFL. This is the guys you had under your helm, and you weren't able to win games. Now, most of that is because of the defense. I mean, it was a game against Baylor. I mean, not Baylor, against Oklahoma. That they scored, Oklahoma scored 60 points. I think Texas Tech scored 59, Oklahoma scored 66. I mean, that wasn't Patrick Mahomes' fault. That's the defense fault. So don't try to bash Patrick Mahomes for not winning games at Texas Tech because the defense was bad. That's one of the reasons why you should fire Kingsbury then. I would accept it if you would have fired him last year with Nick Shimnick, even though I think that Nick Shimnick was straight trash last year for Texas Tech. But that would have been a year to fire him as well. But they beat Texas in the last game of the year and became bowl eligible. So, hey, it is what it is. Now, this year, right here, you fire him after he loses his quarterback opening day and starts a true freshman. It turns out the true freshman, Alan Bowman, is the truth. Alan Bowman's going to be a nice quarterback. But he injures his sternum. After that, you're not able to. I mean, you were, but at one point you were 3-1, number 25. He ranked number 25. He hurts his sternum, injures his sternum against West Virginia. You lose to West Virginia. Then you win you can win 2 more games, against KU and also against TCU. You're 5-2. You're looking at everything going in front of you. You lose against Iowa State that you shouldn't lose. That's probably the worst loss of them all, is the Iowa State loss, because you had your starting quarterback. But then against Oklahoma and against Texas, both of those games, both Oklahoma and Texas are top 10 ranked teams. Even though you had them both at home. You lost to Oklahoma, I think, by, I forgot what the final score was. But I know you lose bowling in the game, and you actually were there to tie, but the 2-point conversion was ran back for a touchdown. Then you lose to Texas, and you lose Texas by a touchdown at home without your starting quarterback. So that's why I don't understand. That's why I wouldn't have fired him this year, because of that. You kept on having the injuries to your quarterbacks and not the lineup. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Duffy even got hurt as well, because McLean Carter started against Baylor. So it's not really Kliff Kingsbury's fault. But let's bring it on circle. Bill O'Brien needs to swallow his pride and call Kliff Kingsbury to be his offensive coordinator. That is the new offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. That is who the Houston Texans should right now be calling up on the phone and bring Kliff Kingsbury into the fold to be the new offensive coordinator of the Houston Texans. A guy who can call plays, a guy who can build the offense around Deshaun's strengths and around his playmaker strengths. I mean, he has quarterbacks under his belt. He was offensive coordinator for U of H when they had Case Keenum. When Case Keenum became college football's all-time leading as winner. I think all-time leading pass. Whatever record I think he's all-time wins in college football history is Case. Offensive coordinator, Kingsbury. John Manziel, Heisman Trophy year. Who's the offensive coordinator? Kliff Kingsbury, Texas A&M. Kliff Kingsbury brings in Baker Mayfield, grooms Baker Mayfield. The only reason why he didn't offer Baker Mayfield a scholarship because he had Dennis Webb and he had Patrick Mahomes already on scholarship, and he didn't end up letting Baker Mayfield go. But you end up getting Patrick Mahomes. You got some time out Davis Webb. Davis Webb ended up making it to the NFL. I think he's playing with the Jets right now. I think he's the 3rd string or 4th string quarterback with the Jets, if I'm not mistaken. But you have Baker Mayfield, who was drafted number 1 overall. You have Patrick Mahomes, who was 10th overall, who was leading the MVP candidate. Well, he's one of the top 2. Is him and Drew Brees, top MVP candidates in the NFL right now. John Manziel, yeah, I know he fell off, but John Manziel had off the field issues. But from a play standpoint, he did win the Heisman under Kliff Kingsbury and was drafted in the top. He was drafted in the 1st round, drafted I think 22 or 24, if I'm not mistaken. And then I know Case wasn't drafted, but Case has bounced around the league for a while, and went to the NFC Championship game last year with Minnesota, and actually just knocked off Pittsburgh, which is going to help the Texans out, because now the Texans are looking at fighting not only for the AFC South title, but all have put themselves in position to possibly get a bye if they continue to win out. So he knows quarterbacks. He knows mobile quarterbacks. Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, Case Keenum. So don't you think that he can construct an offensive game plan around Deshaun Watson, around DeAndre Hopkins, when Will Fuller comes back? He already knows Kiki. Not to mention, his trusted receiver, Wes Welker, is the receivers coach here. So what more to put those two together? I'm pretty sure they could devise all type of wacky game plans and what's the word I'm looking for? Innovative offensive game plans and plays and creative plays. That's the word I'm looking for. All nice type of creative plays. I know everybody's tired of seeing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. This whole same Patriot offense over and over and over again. I think that these guys together can create some things to benefit Deshaun Watson, especially with the bad offensive line play. I'm pretty sure they can find a way to coach around it. And you want to get him before somebody like Andy Reid decides, let me snatch him up. Let me put him back with his quarterback and give him some type of job. He don't even got to be offensive coordinator at Kansas City. Just give him some type of job just to be around this offensive mix. You don't want that to happen. Because I think if you give Kliff Kingsbury back with Patrick Mahomes, it's over. It's over. NFL, it's over. Y'all think y'all seeing crazy highlights now, like it's over. Like with him and Tyreek Hill and all that, it's over. They're going to be coming up with all type of college plays. You don't want that to happen. So stop that from happening. Bring Kliff Kingsbury here. Bring him in. Bring that creative. And also think about this. Because he failed as an offensive, because he failed as a head coach in college football, people are not going to be too quick to grab him and interview him for head coaching jobs in the NFL. You know, most of the time you get offensive coordinator and they offense starts booming and looking good for a year or two, he's already getting head coaching calls. He's already getting head coaching interviews. I don't think that'll be the case with Kliff Kingsbury. Now, he might get college calls. I can see other colleges, you know, small-time colleges. I can see a college like U of H, if things don't work out with Applewhite, call him. I can see, you know, if SMU, you know, like things like that. Like, I can see a small-time coach, a small-time program in college calling out to Kliff Kingsbury after a year or two of good coaching success as also coordinating in the NFL. But as far as NFL jobs, those won't come within the first, in my opinion, 4 to 5 years. I think that you can get a good quality 4 to 5 years of him being your offensive coordinator, because I think people will try to steer away from, especially from the air raid, Texas Tech, shotgun offense. They'll probably want to stay away from that. So even if you bring him in and he's successful as an offensive coordinator, he's not going to get head coaching jobs or calls too quick down here. Because I think that they'll try to steer away from him because they'll think of him as a college air raid coach and not a legitimate NFL coach. And he's going to earn his chops some more. So that gives you a good 4 to 5 years of good, solid, in my opinion, good, solid offensive coordinating from him. And I think that Deshaun and DeAndre and Will Fuller and Demarius, if he's still on the team, Kiki, Lamar Miller, if he's still here, Deontay Foreman, whoever, a future running back. I do believe that they'll bring in a future running back, maybe a Le'Veon Bell type, I don't know, but bring in another running back via free agency or draft this coming up season. I believe that. I really don't think that Lamar Miller will still be here next year. I just don't think that. But most importantly, Deshaun. And I think Deshaun could definitely benefit from somebody who's a legitimate play caller. And also, he knows the position. That's something that Bill O'Brien doesn't have. Bill O'Brien, I think, when he played football at Bryant, I think he was a linebacker. This guy has played the position. He's played the position at a high level in college, playing some nice college games. Now, of course, there was never winning national championships with Texas Tech, but he played some solid competition. He played in the Big 12 back when the Big 12 was the Big 12, when Oklahoma and Texas was something to fear. Back when even A&M, before A&M got into the SEC, A&M was a laughingstock for the past like 10 years. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, A&M was a legitimate team. So he's played against these other schools back when the Big 12 was something to actually be part of. Back when the Big 12 was something to be competitive in. So he knows that. He's also was the backup of Tom Brady when Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl, second Super Bowl. He might have been on the team when he won the second Super Bowl down in Houston, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta remember. But be backed up Tom Brady. So which called coach Tom Brady. He's backed up. Like, you have somebody who's coached Tom Brady and Bill O'Brien, somebody who backed up Tom Brady and not Baker Mayfield and Kliff Kingsbury. And then you also have somebody who caught the ball from Tom Brady in crucial situations and Wes Welker. Like, you have all these people who've been surrounded around the greatest quarterback that we've seen. Guy who's played the position, who's coached the position, and has coached the position. To be honest, his coaching is more legitimate than Bill O'Brien, because when Bill O'Brien got to Tom Brady's already won 3 Super Bowls. He's already won 3 Super Bowls. And also, then he also got to Tom Brady. He was Tom Brady's offensive coordinator after Josh McDaniels was there. So Josh McDaniels actually could take more credit of Tom Brady, the year that Tom Brady and Randy Moss went off. Josh McDaniels was the offensive coordinator, not Bill O'Brien. You got a guy who coached Case to coach Case at U of H to being the all-time winning quarterback. He's coached John Manziel, and everybody knows John Manziel's best year was his Heisman Trophy year. He coached John Manziel to be his best, for John Manziel to play at his best to win the Heisman Trophy. And A&M hasn't looked. That's the best A&M has looked since they joined the SEC, was their Heisman Trophy year. So Kevin Sumlin and all that. Once Kliff Kingsbury left, all A&M went downhill. And then you got Baker Mayfield. You got Davis Webb, who plays solid at Texas Tech. And then you got Patrick Mahomes, who he has coached to be a top 10 quarterback, a top 10 draft pick. So he has a way more successful quarterback tree than Bill O'Brien. Who does Bill O'Brien have? What's the boy name from Penn State? He got drafted by the Jets. I can't even think of his name. It doesn't even matter. That's how irrelevant he is. I can't even think of his name. So I think that the Houston Texans should go after Kliff Kingsbury. And I think that Kliff Kingsbury can design play calls, creative plays, and a creative offensive game plan surrounding Deshaun, DeAndre, and Will Fuller, and especially Kiki. Think about this. He doesn't exactly know how to use Kiki. We've seen what we've seen out of Kiki. I think that he can get even more out of him, because he definitely knows how to use Kiki. He knows everything about Kiki. He knows how to use his talents, and I think he knows how to hide any deficiencies that Deshaun has. I think that he'll be able to use Deshaun in a way that Bill O'Brien could never even think of, because I think, one, he knows the quarterback position. He could talk to Deshaun on a different level than Bill O'Brien can, because he's actually played the quarterback position. So I think we have found our offensive coordinator. If Bill O'Brien could swallow his pride and make this phone call, I think that we could have a legitimate offensive coordinator for the next 4 to 5 years. I think we can have him for the next 4 to 5 years without him even being touched, as far as anybody calling him for head coaching jobs. Maybe college jobs, but I don't think that he'll take those type of jobs, especially if the train is rolling in Houston. I think that he might, because I think if the train's rolling in Houston, he's going to be fiending for a head coaching job as far as the NFL coaching job. I mean, he ain't going to get it, coaching like SMU or something like that. But if he was an offensive coordinator for a successful offense, for a Super Bowl winning offense, for an offense that's bringing in MVPs, when you have an MVP quarterback, and then that's his staple. A league leader in yards, a league leader in receptions, a league leader in touchdowns, win Super Bowls and winning MVPs. That's on his resume. I think he'll be shooting for head coaching NFL jobs. And who knows, if you bring him in and then things really don't work out with Bill, you might have an interim head coach that could possibly be a better head coach. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Comment below. If you haven't clicked that bell, get my videos. I'll holla.